Have you ever made a loan payment and just wondered, where does that money actually go? It feels a bit like a black box, right? You pay the same amount every single month, but that huge total you owe just doesn't seem to shrink as fast as you'd expect. Well, today, we're going to crack open that black box and find out exactly what's going on inside. So this is the big question. When you send that payment to the lender, is it actually paying off the money you borrowed? The honest answer is, well, it's kind of yes and no. And that's the mystery we're going to solve together. You see, every single payment you make, doesn't matter if it's for your car, a personal loan, anything, it's not doing one job. It's actually being split up to do two completely different things. And understanding this split, that's the first key to unlocking the whole puzzle. Okay, so here are the two parts. On one side, you've got capital. That's the real stuff, the actual amount of money you borrowed in the first place. When you pay this down, your debt gets smaller. Simple. But on the other side, you've got interest, and that's basically the fee you're paying the lender for the convenience of using their money. Now, here's the kicker. Every payment is a mix of both, but that mix changes big time over the life of the loan. All right, theory is one thing, but let's make this real. Let's take a super simple example, a small 1,000-pound loan, and watch exactly where every single penny goes, payment by payment. So let's follow the money. Look at that first payment. A whopping 70 pounds of it just vanishes into interest. Only about 311 pounds actually attacks the loan itself. But now, watch what happens with the second payment. Because you owe less money now, the interest due is smaller, only 48 pounds. That means more of your money, a healthy 332 pounds, can go straight to wiping out that capital. And by the time you get to that final payment, bam, almost the entire thing is pure debt destruction. And this chart just shows it so perfectly. That's the secret to how loans work, right there. You're paying the same amount each time, but what that money does changes dramatically. At the beginning, you're mostly just paying the lender's fee, that interest. But by the end, almost every penny is going toward your financial freedom. It's a total shift in power. Now, you might be thinking this all just sort of happens by chance, but it doesn't. This shift is meticulously planned out from the very second you sign the loan agreement. In fact, there's a map for the entire journey. And that roadmap has a name. It's called a loan schedule. Think of it as the complete blueprint for your loan's entire life. It shows every single payment you'll ever make, and it breaks down exactly how much is going to interest and how much is paying off your debt, month after month, year after year. Just look at this table for a bigger loan. You can see that exact same pattern playing out over 5 years. See how the interest due column gets smaller every single year? And at the same time, the capital repaid column gets bigger and bigger. It's that same principle, just on a larger scale. You start off slow, then you build momentum. But okay, what if you don't have that big schedule handy? What if you just want to know right now, how much do I still owe? Well, there are two really neat ways the pros figure this out, and it's kind of like looking through a telescope versus checking your rear view mirror. So the first way is the prospective method. That's the telescope. You're looking forward into the future, and you calculate the value today of all the payments you still have to make. The other way is the retrospective method. That's your rear view mirror. You look back at the original loan amount, and you subtract the value of all the payments you've already made. Two totally different ways of looking at it, but guess what? They both give you the exact same answer. All right, so we've pulled back the curtain on how your payments work. But let's talk about something maybe even more important. How do you compare different loans to know if you're getting a good deal in the first place? Honestly, this next part is probably the most critical thing for any borrower to understand. So picture this. You see an ad for a loan. It sounds so simple, so harmless. The rate is just 1% per day. I mean, 1%, that's tiny, right? It sounds like a pretty good deal, but is it? No, it is not a good deal. That tiny, innocent-sounding 1% per day, because of the sneaky power of compounding interest, actually works out to an annual rate of, wait for it, 3,678%. It is a shocking, astronomical number, and it just goes to show how misleading a simple daily rate can be. And this is exactly why regulators created one number to rule them all, the annual percentage rate, or APR. The whole point of the APR is to cut through all the confusing marketing and weird fees. It's a standardized number that shows you the true, effective annual cost of borrowing. It lets you compare apples to apples no matter how the loan is structured. Now, sometimes you'll see something called a flat rate advertised. Be careful. A flat rate is just a simple calculation based on the original loan amount, and it doesn't account for the fact that your balance is shrinking. The APR is the real effective rate you're paying. And here's a little pro tip. The APR is almost always higher than the flat rate. A lot of the time, it's about double. Spotting that difference isn't just a fun fact, it could literally save you thousands of pounds. Now, that's the super technical definition. It sounds complicated, I know, but what it really means for you is simple. The APR is the great equalizer. It is the one number that puts every single loan on a level playing field so that you can make the smart choice. So, I'll leave you with a final thought. Now that you've seen inside the black box and you know about the great equalizer, I have a question for you. The next time you look at a loan offer, what's the very first number you're going to check?